your greens. These are your kales. These are your deep green veggies, leafy veggies, okay? Now, after you have 50% of your plate of folate fiber, you want the next majority of it to be protein. Why? Because this is what's going to protect the muscles, build the muscles, okay? So your protein is your lean protein. If you indulge in red meat, please feel free to do so, but your leanest protein will be your seafood as well as your lean chicken breast, okay? We'll get into red meat a little later. And then after that, you have your carbs. Now, carbs have a negative indication, if you will, because of overindulgence. However, we need carbs in order for the body to activate. Again, all this food is fuel. It's just a matter of what type of food you're putting in your body, okay? So, questions, comments, concerns thus far? Okay, beautiful. Now, you have two elements that you need into your daily palates, all of your meals, whether it's 1 meal a day or 3. You need to have your macronutrients, which are your proteins, your fats, and your carbs. And then again, you need to have your micronutrients, which is your fiber-forward foods, okay? Macronutrients provide the energy to carry out our human functions. Their job is to provide energy for the central nervous system and energy for our muscles. Carbs can be broken down into 2 types. You have your simple and then you have your complex. Now, your simple carbs are broken down into the body quickly. They are found in your dairies, your sugars, the processed foods, the candies, the sodas, the things that we want to stay away from the majority of the time. But again, everything in moderation because life's about balance. And then you have your complex carbs, which are broken down more slowly into the body. Foods such as the beans, the vegetables, the whole grains, oats. Again, these hold positive nutritional values for the body. And then you have your micronutrients, which are again, your vitamins, your minerals needed by the body in small amounts, but the impact on the body's health are critical, and any deficiency in them can cause a severe harm and life-threatening conditions, okay? And this is one of the reasons why they say that if you eat negatively, that will cause disease within the body. You eat positively, you live an optimal lifestyle, okay? Now, I would like to speak a little bit about what are positive foods that we should be digesting on a day-to-day basis. Has anyone ever heard of the alkaline food chart? Yes. Yes? Okay. So, can someone describe to me what the alkaline food chart is? Or alkaline foods?
Lemon.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So, when we think of a food chart, we want to think of a large array. We have alkaline foods, we have our neutral foods, and then we have our acidic foods. All these foods are in their category based off their pH level. What is pH? Anyone know what pH stands for?
Is it the acidity in food?
Yes, absolutely. So pH stands for potential hydrogen. Hydrogen is breaking down into oxygen, okay? We know we need oxygen in order to survive. So we want to eat foods that hold those high pH levels, okay? pH level 7 to 14 is optimal. Anything below that 7 is something that we want to tread very lightly with and have in moderation. And I'll give us a few details about what some of those foods look like. So, when we think of moderation, everything is about balance, yet again. So a lot of meats that we digest are indeed acidic, but we know we need protein. So that's again why we want to balance it out with the majority of that folate. So different things that are super acidic: hard liquors, canned foods, pickles, pork, sweetened fruits and juices. Let's see here, cheese, dairy, cream cheese, coffee, although I love coffee, but we all have those things. Okay, now when we get to the neutralization of the food, these are the things that are like our grains, our couscous, our farro, our honey, our cashews, our blueberries, our raspberries. Some fruits are a little bit more acidic than alkaline, but we have to think of the overall wellness of them, okay? And then when we get to the high pH level, these are going to be the elements like the Brussels sprouts, the avocados, the raw spinach, the asparagus, okay, your seaweed, your kale, your peas, your eggplants, okay? So do we see that spectrum and how it flows? So we want to be 80% positive. Give yourself a little room for neutral, and then we want to linger away from the acidic, okay? But again, everything in moderation. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, all right, beautiful. Now, before we move on from the food chart, I want to talk a little bit more about the times that we are evolving in as not just internal but overall Mother Earth, and why it's so imperative for us to eat a positive nutritional balance right now. So, as of right now, Mother Earth is ascending, okay? I don't know if anyone is familiar with the age of Aquarius, but the age of Aquarius is, again, higher consciousness. So, as Mother Earth is ascending up, as above, so below, we must ascend up as well. And in order to do that, again, it's very imperative for us to heal the gut. As we ascend higher, if you feel yourself becoming more dense, it's because we have too many metals within the body. And you'll feel yourself. You'll feel after a meal, ooh, I feel a little heavy. So we may want to reflect upon that meal at that time. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Yes, beautiful. So again, as Mother Earth ascends, as above, so below, we must ascend with it. Okay? Now, I want to talk about the digesting. Now, digesting is very important, especially if we eat a meal after 7 o'clock. So just by a raise of hands, how many people eat dinner before 7? Beautiful. How many people eat dinner after 7? Okay, excellent. And you know, that's very transparent. Sometimes with my schedule, I do as well. Now, I want to speak of why we need to eat early, okay? So, it actually, people understand, but it takes a long time for food to digest in your system. Naturally, once you start chewing, that's when we start digesting. But the full digestive flow takes about 12 hours. So, you want to refrain from going to sleep right after you're done eating. You want to give yourself at least a good 3 to 4 hours for that food to settle through the stomach and start itself into the small intestine so it can start its process. Okay? When we eat too late, the digestive cells do not have enough energy or are overworking because now they are going through a time where they have to work at a certain time than they should. Does that make sense to everyone? Because naturally all of our organs have a specific duty, and their duty starts on the hour, whenever that hour is. So you want to try to eat no later than 7. Give your body at least 3 hours to digest so you can have optimal sleep. Now, sleep is not just so we can enter into the astral realm and have these amazing dreams, but it also helps us recover the muscles, it helps us build muscles, and it also helps with our immunity. This is where everything builds, recovers, and heals. So that's why you always hear people say you have to get a quality amount of sleep, okay? And it's not just by how many hours you get, it's by what you do prior to. So again, eating about more than 3 hours before you're going to go to sleep, minimizing your blue screen for the brain, and also digesting resting routines, okay? Now, I love to talk about this because a lot of time, especially with my students, I realized that they don't have a resting routine. And you know, my mother used to say, you know, we have to shut it down. What do we do to shut it down? So by a raise of hands, what do some of you all do to shut it down? Do you take a bath? Do you have bedtime tea? Do you watch your favorite show? Do you read a book?
Have a cup of tea.
Have a cup of tea, excellent.
You know, shut down everything, and I have some different types of tea, different sleep teas.
Beautiful.
Oh, yoga?
Love it.
Breath work.
Excellent.
I like to read before bed.
Beautiful.
It can be stimulating, so.
It can be, yes.
I like what you read.
Indeed, it can be. And you know, I feel like stimulating books is beautiful energy to kind of transmute that energy into a dream. So now you take it from the 3D realm into the spiritual realm. So think about that before going to sleep if it's too stimulating. So our resting routine is very important. The activities, these are the